Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the roaring sea. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Terrence Fontaine, Executive Director of Aviation at Texas Southern University. One of the things that we don't even think about is our airlines and how black pilots have affected our airlines during since the creation of aviation, meaning the Wright brothers in the early 1900s. A guy by the name of Marlon Green. Marlon Green was the very first black pilot in the United States. Marlon Green worked for Continental Airlines. Although his first day on the job, they fired him. They didn't realize he was black, obviously. Although he had all the credentials and all the hours he needed, they still got rid of him. Well, he ended up suing the airline, and years later, he went to court. They gave him his job back and all his back pay. So at this day in history, we need to remember Continental Airlines and a gentleman by the name of Marlon Green, the very first African-American airline pilot.
Bessie Coleman was the first female African-American pilot, and she was a civil rights pioneer for future generations. Born in 1892, she was famous for becoming a pilot in a time when very few women and no African-American women were flying planes. Coleman was known as one of the best barnstormers, or stunt pilots, in America. She was famous for performing tricks like flying upside down, making loops, and even walking or hanging onto her plane while it was in flight. Most famously, she also performed jumps from planes using early parachutes. Bessie is remembered for living an exciting life, but it wasn't always that way. She was born in a little town called Atlanta in the state of Texas to a Native American father and an African American mother. Her childhood wasn't easy. She walked 4 miles every day to a one-room school that couldn't afford paper or pencils. Her parents were sharecroppers. They operated under a system of agriculture in which a landowner allowed a tenant to use the land in return for a share of the crops produced on that land. So, when Bessie wasn't in school, she was often working in the cotton fields in order to help her parents bring in income. Growing up, Coleman swore to herself that she would find a way to make her life mean something. And so she did. Coleman moved to Chicago, where her brothers were already living. They told her, marvelous tales about French women flying planes in World War I, and she wanted to do the same thing. But flight schools barred blacks, and she was unable to convince any white pilots to teach her how to fly. Instead of giving up, Bessie Coleman worked hard so that she could learn French and could travel to Paris to learn to fly. So she did. She studied and she taught herself how to speak French. Once she mastered the language, Bessie then left the United States and she traveled to Europe. From there, she made her way to France and then ultimately to Paris. Unlike the United States, she was able to find a pilot that was willing to teach her to fly. At the time of Bessie's training, the only way for pilots to earn a living was by teaching other people how to fly through flight schools or by becoming stunt pilots who performed for crowds that paid for the show. Bessie returned to the United States and became one of the most famous stunt flyers to ever live. She even worked hard to help other black women learn to fly, but sadly, Coleman was killed while preparing for a parachute jump the day before a big show. But her legacy lives on today, and the road to O'Hare Airport in Chicago was even named after her. She died young, but her willingness to be a civil rights pioneer will live on forever.
We're here to commemorate 50 years of women flying in naval aviation, which is really exciting for us. So we brought a variety of aircraft that we fly in the Navy off of the aircraft carrier out today for the crowd, the community to see.
This will be the first all-female flyover with female maintainers supporting us all the way, female flight dock. It's really important for everyone across the nation to see, like, yes, we are here.
This is an incredible opportunity. I've said several times that it's any pilot's dream to be a part of a Super Bowl flyover, which is incredible, and it's really exciting for us to be able to showcase everything that our sailors and maintainers do to keep our jets airborne.
All the female maintainers that make us safe and enable us to fly in theater. It's amazing.
It's a good chance for us to reach out to the community, for the NFL and the Navy to work together to celebrate all of our achievements.
It brings me such joy. It really does. To inspire the next generation is, honestly, there's no higher honor.